Hey, Rhythm Guitar Rockers, this is Mark Turco from rhythmguitarlessons.net. And in this video today, I am speaking with Deanna De Cabarrus from songwritinglessonsonline.com on a recent live chat that she hosted on YouTube. We talked about many things, but one subject that came up was the topic of what to focus on first to get better faster. I give my advice on what is a top priority to getting better faster playing rhythm guitar.
What could I do if I wanted to evaluate my skill level with rhythm? Are we thinking about playing in time? So is it accuracy when playing along with a metronome or along with a drummer? Or is there more to it than that? Are there other ways that we can know where we're at rhythmically aside from recording ourselves and listening back? Is there, the idea of having an inner time clock, is there a way that we can train that?
Yes. Well, all of those things that you had said, those are all components of being a good rhythm player. Um, I'll specifically speak to the inner time clock thing because that's the first thing that you actually need to be able to do before we could do anything else. That's where we start. So forget about trying to create a groove or any kind of dynamics. Step one would be definitely having a rock solid inner time clock. And the best way that I found that it works is that if you do work with a metronome or a drum track, a lot. I mean, a lot, to the point of where you just hear that click, 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 banging in your head when you're about to fall asleep at some tempo. That is actually where you want to be. Now, there are people who are very fortunate where timekeeping is not a problem. They kind of get it relatively quickly. But for others, it's not that easy. And you really almost need to brainwash yourself on how to have an inner clock and its consistent and persistent use of it over and over and over again. Now, a nice thing that you could do if you have the capabilities is if you have some kind of recording software or anything like that, you can actually record a click track and you could let it go, just say for 16 beats, and you play along to it. And then after 16 beats, you actually just erase 4 beats and then let it start up again in time. So the space that you're taking out is the amount of time that there would be 4 beats. And during that quiet part, when the click comes back on, are you right in on it as if you're supposed to? So if you have the capabilities, you could do something like that. And then as you get better and better, your spaces get longer and longer and longer. And so eventually it doesn't really matter. As long as you get started up and running, you could actually play in time through towards the end of a whole song. And then with the click comes back in, you're right there. So, but that's only if you have the capabilities. That's pretty modern, in the sense of the past 10 or 15 years. Prior to that, it's basically good old fashioned brainwashing and almost making yourself mad with just hearing a click going on inside of your own head all the time.
I love the suggestion of having some dropped beats,
Yeah.
because that's a really good way. You're going to know straight away how long you can kind of keep that pulse for and where you're at. Because if it's like bam, 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 bam,
Yeah.
and then you come in and you hit it, you're going to know.
Yeah.
It's going to give you quite a clear indication. I think what's interesting as well is that we tend to have like sweet spots with tempos where we can do this more easily.
Yes.
So with like really, really fast tempos and really slow tempos, it tends to be harder.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Totally. And I wasn't going to speak to this, but seeing how you brought it up, start with the tempo you're comfortable with, which is great. Start with the sweet spot. Let's start off simple and we'll make it more complex. But the whole idea, Deanna, of how many students have you had that don't or can't tap their foot while they're playing.
Like a lot. And I remember not being able to do that.
Yes. So that's actually a very, very important thing, because you're using another part of your body to keep this tempo. And it's hard to put your hands as a guitar player together with your foot. I understand that. But you need to overcome this struggle. And the way that you do it is you make it even simpler. Okay. You just strum simply, and just tap your foot, tap your foot, tap your foot.
I want to thank Deanna for having me as a guest on our YouTube channel. Let me know in the comment section what other topics you would like me to make new videos on. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and set your notifications so you know when I make a new video. Remember, always have fun with your guitar, and I'll see you next time. If you like that video, you're going to love this brand new e-guide that's totally free. The link is in this video's description, or you can go to rhythmguitarlessons.net/P, lowercase r, lowercase o.